Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Apex Craze. We are back with another video, and guys, I am freaking out right now. Bitcoin just broke $100,000. Can you believe that? This is absolutely insane, especially after everything that's happened this year. I mean, we just saw Donald Trump win the presidential election, and honestly, nobody knows what that means for the market. But one thing's for sure, Bitcoin is on an absolute tear right now, so in this video, we're gonna break down everything that just happened, why Bitcoin is skyrocketing, and what it means for you as an investor. So buckle up, smash that like button, and let's dive right in. Okay, so let's address the elephant in the room. Donald Trump. Whether you love him or hate him, there's no denying that the man knows how to make headlines and move markets. Love him or hate him, the man knows how to move markets. His influence on the financial world is undeniable, and that extends to the world of cryptocurrency as well. And for Bitcoin, his presidency has historically been, well, pretty good. The cryptocurrency saw some of its most significant gains during his time in office. Remember back in 2017? That was a landmark year for Bitcoin. Bitcoin went from like $1,000 to almost $20,000 during Trump's first term. It was an unprecedented surge that caught everyone's attention. Now, I'm not saying it was all because of him, but his policies definitely played a role. His administration's approach to deregulation and tax cuts created a favorable environment for investments. Trump's a big deregulation guy, right? He believes in cutting red tape and letting businesses operate with more freedom. He loves to cut taxes, free up businesses, and just let the market do its thing. This kind of environment is like rocket fuel for the crypto market, and that kind of environment, believe it or not, is actually really good for crypto. When businesses thrive, so does the interest in alternative investments like Bitcoin. See, Bitcoin and crypto in general, they thrive on this idea of decentralization. The less government intervention, the better for these digital assets. It's all about taking power away from governments and big institutions and putting it back in the hands of the people. This philosophy aligns well with Trump's policies. So when you have a president who's all about less government intervention, well, it kind of makes sense that crypto would do well. His stance on deregulation and business freedom has indirectly benefited the crypto market. But here's the thing, it's not just about Trump. The rise of Bitcoin is influenced by a multitude of factors. This Bitcoin surge, it's way bigger than just one guy. It's a global phenomenon driven by a growing distrust in traditional financial systems. We're seeing a massive shift happening right now in how people view money. Digital currencies are becoming more mainstream as people seek alternatives to traditional banking. The stock market's been shaky all year, inflation is through the roof, and people are looking for a safe haven for their money. Traditional investments are losing their appeal, and that's where Bitcoin comes in. It's like digital gold. It's seen as a store of value that can protect against economic instability. It's scarce, it's decentralized, and it can't be manipulated by governments. These qualities make it an attractive option for those looking to safeguard their wealth. So when the traditional financial system starts to look a little bit wobbly, people turn to Bitcoin. It's a trend that's only growing stronger as more people recognize the potential of digital currencies. Alright, so now for the million-dollar question, should you buy Bitcoin right now? It's a question that's on everyone's mind, especially with all the buzz around cryptocurrencies these days. And look, I'm not a financial advisor, so this isn't financial advice, but I can share some insights that might help you make a more informed decision. But I will say this, Bitcoin is a volatile asset. Its price can swing wildly in a matter of hours, let alone days or weeks. I mean, it just went up like, 50% in the past week? That's insane. Such rapid increases can be exhilarating but also nerve-wracking, but what goes up can also come down. And often it comes down just as fast, if not faster. So, if you're thinking about investing, you gotta be prepared for a bumpy ride. It's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. Now the bulls, the people who are super optimistic about Bitcoin, they'll tell you this is just the beginning. They believe we're on the cusp of a financial revolution. They'll say Bitcoin could easily hit $200,000, maybe even $500,000 in the next few years. They see it as the future of money. And their argument makes sense, right? With more adoption and limited supply, the price could indeed skyrocket. Bitcoin has a limited supply. Only 21 million Bitcoins will ever exist, which creates scarcity. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins. This scarcity is a big part of what drives its value. And as more people and institutions jump on board, that demand is only going to increase, which should, in theory, drive the price up. More adoption means more demand. But then you have the bears, the people who are a little more cautious, and they'll tell you this is just another bubble. They warn of potential pitfalls. They'll say Bitcoin has no intrinsic value, that it's all just speculation, and that this whole thing could come crashing down any minute. They see it as a risky gamble. And you know what, they might be right too. The history of Bitcoin is filled with dramatic rises and equally dramatic falls. We've seen this happen before with Bitcoin. It goes through these massive boom and bust cycles. So, who's right? Honestly, nobody knows. It goes through these massive boom and bust cycles. So, who's right? Honestly, nobody knows. The market is unpredictable. And that's the thing about investing, especially in something as unpredictable as crypto. You have to be ready for anything. You gotta be comfortable with risk. If you're not, then maybe Bitcoin isn't the right investment for you. But here's the thing, even if you believe in the long-term potential of Bitcoin, trying to time the market is a fool's game. It's nearly impossible to predict the perfect moment to buy or sell. Like seriously, even the pros get it wrong all the time. So, what's the solution? Dollar cost averaging? It's a strategy that can help mitigate some of the risks. Instead of trying to put all your money in at once and hoping for the best, you invest a little bit every month, no matter what the price is doing. This way you spread out your risk. That way, you're not trying to time the market. You're just consistently investing over time. You're just buying a little bit at a time, and over the long term it can really help to reduce your risk. Consistency is key in such a volatile market. Chapter 3. Bitcoin at $100,000, this changes everything. But guys, this isn't just about making money. Bitcoin hitting $100,000, this is a cultural moment. This is about the future of finance. Think about it. Just a few years ago, Bitcoin was this fringe thing that only tech nerds and libertarians were talking about. Now, it's on the front page of every newspaper, and everyone from your grandma to Elon Musk is talking about it, and for good reason. Bitcoin is challenging the very foundations of our financial system. It's showing the world that there's another way, a way to send and receive money without banks, without governments, without all the middlemen, and countries are starting to take notice. El Salvador, they made Bitcoin legal tender last year, and now other countries are looking into it. They're realizing that Bitcoin could be a way to boost their economies, to bank the unbanked, to create a more inclusive financial system. But it's not just governments. Businesses are getting in on the action too. Tesla, they bought a bunch of Bitcoin last year, and now you can buy a Tesla with Bitcoin. Square, PayPal, they're all integrating Bitcoin and crypto into their platforms. And this is just the beginning. As more people and businesses adopt Bitcoin, it's only going to become more mainstream. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how we think about and use money. Chapter 4. The biggest threats to Bitcoin's future. Okay, so it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Bitcoin's got its fair share of challenges ahead. And if we're being honest, some of these risks are pretty scary. First off, the volatility. I know I already talked about this, but seriously, Bitcoin is like the wildest roller coaster you've ever been on. One minute you're up, the next minute you're down. And for a lot of people, that kind of volatility is just too much to handle. They'd rather stick with their boring old stocks and bonds, thank you very much. Then there's the regulation. Governments around the world, they're starting to get a little bit nervous about Bitcoin. They see this decentralized, unregulated system and they don't like it one bit. China, they already cracked down on Bitcoin mining, and other countries could follow suit. They could impose taxes, restrictions, maybe even outright bans. And if that happens, it could have a major impact on Bitcoin's price. And then there's the environmental concerns. Bitcoin mining, it uses a lot of energy, like a lot. And with climate change being such a big issue, a lot of people are starting to question whether Bitcoin is sustainable in the long run. So, yeah, Bitcoin's got its work cut out for it. But here's the thing, Bitcoin's been through a lot already. It's been declared dead more times than I can count, but it always seems to bounce back stronger. Chapter 5. Bitcoin in 2025, $200,000 or zero. So what's next for Bitcoin? Will it keep going up? Will it crash and burn? The future of Bitcoin is a hot topic and everyone has an opinion. Honestly, your guess is as good as mine, but let's have some fun and make some predictions, shall we? After all, speculating about Bitcoin's future is almost as exciting as the cryptocurrency itself. The optimists, they'll tell you Bitcoin's going to the moon. They believe in its potential to revolutionize the financial world. They'll say it's only a matter of time before it hits $200,000, $500,000, maybe even $1 million per coin. Their confidence is rooted in Bitcoin's past performance and future potential, and their argument is based on scarcity. The limited supply of Bitcoin is a key factor in their bullish predictions. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins. This cap on supply is what makes Bitcoin unique compared to traditional currencies. And as more people and institutions invest, that demand is only going to increase, which should drive the price up. The more mainstream Bitcoin becomes, the higher its value could potentially go. Plus, there's a lot of innovation happening in the Bitcoin space. Developers are constantly working on new technologies to improve the Bitcoin ecosystem. The Lightning Network, for example, it's making Bitcoin transactions faster and cheaper. This could make Bitcoin more practical for everyday use. And as these technologies improve, it's only going to make Bitcoin more appealing to mainstream users. The easier it is to use, the more people will adopt it. But then you have the pessimists. They see a different future for Bitcoin. They'll tell you Bitcoin's a bubble that's about to burst. They warn that the current high prices are unsustainable. They'll say it has no intrinsic value, that it's all just speculation, and that the whole thing could come crashing down any minute. Their arguments are based on the volatile nature of the market, and they might be right. Bitcoin has had its fair share of dramatic price drops. We've seen this happen before with Bitcoin. It goes through these massive boom and bust cycles. And there's always the risk that this time could be different, that this could be the big one. So who's right? Honestly, nobody knows. The future of Bitcoin is as uncertain as ever, and that's the beauty of it. Bitcoin is unpredictable. It's exciting. The thrill of the unknown keeps investors and enthusiasts on their toes. And it's got the potential to change the world. Whether it soars to new heights or crashes down, Bitcoin's journey is one to watch. Chapter 6. What do you think about Bitcoin? So, there you have it guys, Bitcoin just hit $100,000, it's a historic moment. But the story's far from over. Where do you think Bitcoin goes from here? Do you think it's headed for $200,000? Or are we in for a major correction? Let me know in the comments down below. And hey, while you're down there, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos on Bitcoin, crypto, and all things finance. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.